Mock Draft is presented by Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com/chat. You can get 20% off and free shipping at checkout for all of their awesome items. Harrison Graham, Tom Downey. Tom has cooked up another NFL mock draft because we have an updated draft order now that the regular season is ending. We'll kind of go through this fairly quickly, Tom. Number 1, no change here, Trevor Lawrence to the Jaguars.
It's still Trevor Lawrence. Don't get me wrong. I was very impressed by Justin Fields. That's why he ends up going number 2 in my mock draft, based again on the official current NFL draft order. You can't, though, throw out an entire 3-year worth sample size when entering this game, everyone was like, yeah, it's going to be Trevor Lawrence
and
to
it's
go.
Not that close.
Oh, now it's Fields. I think it's still Trevor Lawrence. The bright side is it's a very good quarterback draft class. So I reserve the right to change my name, especially if it feels like is perfect against Alabama, which he very well might play great, and I think he will play very well. But I'm still going to go Trevor Lawrence as QB1.
Yeah, let us know who's QB1, TL or JF. I think it's Trevor Lawrence, so I'm going to type my TL in the comments section. But let us know what you guys think. Has Justin Fields done enough to surpass Trevor Lawrence? If so, you can type JF. Number 3 overall, Penei Sewell. They get a tackle for Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, the Dolphins can trade down. They can go receiver. They can go offensive line. But I like the idea. I know you just drafted Austin Jackson. Well, put one of those guys at right tackle.
Which is Tua's blind side.
And put Robert Hunt at, I think, his natural spot, again, his best spot at guard.
Yeah.
I think that's a great way to really upgrade your offensive line. If you're going to build around Tua, get him some more help. Go receiver, go offensive line. I went O-line here.
3 quarterbacks in the top 4, Tom. Zach Wilson out of BYU going to the Falcons. This would be very fascinating.
He's fun, man.
You give him the Mahomes treatment. You learn it for a year under Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
Then you trade Matt Ryan.
And I think Wilson is probably closer to being ready than, say, a Trey Lance is, but Wilson's one of the most fun watches of all the quarterbacks this year.
Rocket on.
Now, I think at some point you want to dial him back a little bit, not too much in terms of operating within structure, but dude's got an arm, a great downfield thrower. I think he's worth the top 5 pick. And for the Falcons, this is your chance to build long-term, too. I say go quarterback.
Joe Burrow gets a weapon at number 5 in your latest mock draft. Jamar Chase out of LSU going to Cincinnati.
Penei Sewell would be ideal. They go offensive lineman, too, but A.J. Green probably gone. John Ross not going to come back. So you go Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase.
That works for me.
That's a fun way to build around Joe Burrow.
Joe Mixon next
year.
year.
I like that.
Number 6, Micah Parsons. He opted out, the linebacker out of Penn State, but he's still expected to go top 10.
Philly's going to be interesting, man. Now, I think Parsons, I'm not going to be in the end as high on him as I thought I was going to be once I dove in, but they could go corner, quarterback. They could go receiver. They've needed an impact linebacker for a long time. I do want to see what defensive coordinator route they go, but I'll go Parsons here just because I think he's going to be one of the best defensive players in this year's class.
The Offensive Player of the Year in college football, Devonta Smith out of Alabama at number 7.
Thought about Jaylen Waddle. We will talk about him later on. Of course, I promise you guys there. I almost went quarterback here, but when you look at what the Lions are bringing back at receiver, under contract, Quintez Cephas. Thin. There's nobody else under contract.
How fun would re-signing Galladay and drafting Smith be? Matt Stafford would be salivating.
There you go. You did it. I think that makes a lot of sense for Detroit. So I'm going to frequently mock them a wide receiver, I think.
Who is the best wide receiver prospect in this year's class? It's a loaded one. You got Chase. You got Smith. You got Waddle. You got Bateman. There's a lot of good weapons in this year's class. So who's the best one?
No wrong answers.
Let us know in the comments. No wrong answers until we circle back a year from now and tell you that you had the wrong answer. Let us know in the comments section. At number 8, Trey Lance. You got him going to Carolina.
You mentioned the Patrick Mahomes thing back with the Falcons.
Yep.
That's what you do here. I think Trey Lance could use a year of development, not because he isn't a smart player or anything like that, but because that North Dakota State offense was not exactly pro-style. Yes, it was under center, but they were just better than everything they played. They didn't have to do a lot.
And he also hasn't played a lot of football.
Exactly.
Basically didn't play this year.
So keep Teddy Bridgewater for a year. Have Trey Lance, take him at number 8 overall, sit him for a year. Now you've got your long-term quarterback. And for Matt Rule, you're not panicking about losing your job.
No.
I think it's a good fit, and fit matters a lot more than we want to admit in the NFL.
At number 9, Patrick Surtain, the corner out of Bama. You think he's the top corner in this year's draft?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I think it's Surtain, Farley, who we'll get to, and J.C. Horn I was also pretty damn impressed by. The production was awesome for Surtain. I, of course, want to see how he does against the likes of Chris Olave in the championship game.
Test.
Also, he's not going to run that fast. And that's not the end of the world, but there's not a long list of 4, 5.5, or 4, 40-yard dash corners who ran the 4.5s.
Yep.
Not a long list. I think that's what Surtain is, but I think he'd be a good fit for Denver in particular.
Caleb Farley has skyrocketed up draft boards in this year.
I always liked him.
You've got him going to Dallas at number 10.
He was in my way too early round 1 mock draft. I like him a lot, and
he's got good size.
He fits all the traits that you want. He's got the size, he's got the length, he's got the ball skills. Dude's a freaky athlete. This defensive class in general is going to be a bit of a balance between, production versus traits.
Okay.
Surtain's got a little bit better production because he played this past year and was a shutdown corner. Farley's traits with, I think, damn good production too. I think he might be my CB1 when it's all said and done.
All right, let's get to the number 11 pick, the Giants. They go Kwity Paye.
Remember how I mentioned traits versus production? Traits pick right here. Kwity Paye's production in terms of sacks was not great at Michigan. And he's a little bit bigger than the typical Giants edge rusher, but I actually think that's okay. It fits Dave Gettleman's mindset too, so It helps. Freak athlete off the edge, has not yet come close to hitting his potential. I think with the job the Giants defensive coordinator has done, Patrick Graham, could be a good fit.
At number 12, another corner here, J.C. Horn out of South Carolina.
Yeah, money's getting tight over in San Francisco. It's just the nature of life in the NFL. They're going to need to probably replace Richard Sherman. I like J.C. Horn. In a bubble, I think you prefer one of these corners to go top 12 just based on their talent level. Corners rise. Teams need them. That's why I got 3 in the top 12, but it's a good fit for San Francisco.
We mentioned today's show is presented by Manscaped. You can get the perfect package at manscaped.com/chat. Get that 20% off and free shipping at checkout as well. What comes in the perfect package? You can get the Lawnmower 3.0. You can get the most comfortable boxers you will ever own. And you got ball toner, ball deodorant. The Lawnmower 3.0, by the way, it's the best men's grooming product out there. Look, I gave up. I threw in the towel. I was like, no more razor burn for me. I quit. And then my friends at Manscaped were like, give us a chance. Try the Lawnmower 3.0. Tom, it's changed my life.
Your wife told me it was very important.
Wife's a huge fan. I know yours is as well. The Lawnmower 3.0, it's a game changer for downstairs. Trust me on that one. Manscaped.com/chat. You'll get 20% off at checkout when you go to that link, and you get the travel kit as well. When
Super
you go
handy.
on the road, you can throw your toothpaste in there, your cologne, whatever you need.
Contact solution.
Contact solution if you're blind like Tom. Manscaped.com/chat. Get the Lawnmower 3.0 or any of their products at Manscaped. They're a big sponsor for us. We appreciate them. Go ahead and help those guys out. All right, at number 13 in your latest mock draft, Christian Darrisaw, the tackle out of Virginia
Yeah, he
Tech.
was not on my radar entering this year, but he was fantastic.
Okay.
The job that he did at Virginia Tech against, admittedly not the greatest group of pass rushers, he shut down everyone he played. Like he was awesome. And in a class that doesn't really have a clear offensive tackle too, when they're in a group that is going to want to have tackles go early, he might be a top 15 pick.
Speaking of the big boys, Rashawn Slater, you have him as a guard?
I listed him as offensive line because I'm gonna put him at tackle. I have moved on from the you don't have 34-inch arms, you can't play tackle for me. I've moved on from that.
Okay.
I've grown. The NFL is not.
I've grown.
The NFL, there are thresholds, there are measurements. I understand it. Slater, of the guys who played Chase Young, did the best job against him.
That's impressive.
But he's got, I think, going to have sub 33-inch arms. Some of him as a guard, some as a tackle. Good news, Minnesota needs both. I found a fit.
Kyle Pitts, probably my favorite player in this draft class, the tight end, but really the slot receiver out of Florida. He is absolutely fantastic, going to the Patriots at 15.
I'm going to mention this a lot, and I trust Josh McDaniels to be smart about this. But if you draft Kyle Pitts and you say, we're going to play him in line as a wide tight end, I hate you.
Yes.
Because that is not coming close to maximizing Kyle Pitts. This guy's Darren Waller.
Yes.
Upgraded athletically. You put him as a receiver tight hybrid, put him outside, put him in the slot, get him the ball in space, get him the ball downfield. Don't ask him to be a blocking tight end.
Find the mismatches.
Yeah, do that. Let him be your weapon as a mismatch nightmare. I think Josh McDaniels can do that really well. I love the fit.
He can't block, but he's an absolutely fantastic receiver. Jaylen Waddle, the burner out of Alabama, he's got the injury, but he still should go in the first round.
Well, Jaylen Waddle might just play in the championship game. He was back at practice today as we filmed this on Monday. I like Jaylen Waddle a lot. Ooh. We made, rightfully so, a big deal about Devonta Smith's production this year. Before Jaylen Waddle went down, when both Waddle and Smith were out there, Waddle was producing at a more efficient rate.
That's impressive.
So I'm a huge Jaylen Waddle fan. I didn't plan for him to fall all the way down to 16. Shoot, I almost mocked him at 7 to the Detroit Lions. I thought about him going even to the Dolphins earlier in previous mock drafts. Those 3 receivers, pick your flavor. They're all great in their own right there. Waddle, super explosive and dynamic after the catch.
All right, we're halfway through your mock draft. We'll get back to it in just a second. But first, you love the NFL draft as much as I do, and especially as much as Tom do. Guys, draft coverage from now until draft night. It's not going away because the offseason is here for a lot of NFL teams, and even though the playoffs are going on, offseason rumors, draft rumors, they are circulating. We'll have mock drafts. How many mock drafts between now and the draft? Probably 10?
Yes, all of them.
All of the mock drafts. That's what I'm being told. Hit that subscribe button. It's 100% free. Tom busts it studying this stuff on a daily basis, so go ahead and subscribe. You don't want to miss any of our draft coverage. All right, we'll pick things up in the second half of the mock here, Tom. Gregory Rousseau, the edge out of Miami, he was an opt-out.
I am, in general, slower to react to as players' draft stock changes throughout the year, and Rousseau's kind of steadily slid down. The production's awesome. The traits are tantalizing. It's not as repeatable as you might think it is. He won a lot on the interior. It's not how he's going to win for the most part in the NFL. Didn't play this year. Honestly, there will be some. I'm not sure I'm going to be one of them. But there will be some people out there who think Jalen Phillips is a better prospect, who's got medical concerns too. But the Raiders need an edge rusher. Rousseau, I think, would be a good kind of inside-outside player at times for them. I'm still going to put him at round 1, but I wouldn't be stunned if he actually doesn't go round 1. But he might pull up the combine too, so we'll see.
Xavier Collins out of Tulsa going to the Dolphins at 18.
I love the fit here. Like, Brian Flores likes these types of linebackers, guys who can rotate between being 4-3 inside linebacker, 4-3 outside linebacker, 3-4 outside linebacker, blitzing, coverages. I like Xavier Collins a lot. And at some level, and I'll put it in the video since no one's going to remember it, he played like the way people want Micah Parsons to play.
Okay.
So that's the take there.
At number 19, I'm going to give this a go, Tom, and then you can correct me if I'm wrong. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah?
Not even close. There is no D in there. You need glasses, my friend. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah.
Sam moved the graphic on.
Woo out of the, it was as they call him there, linebacker from Notre Dame. I wasn't sure where to go with Washington, frankly. I don't have a great feel for what they're going to do in the offseason quite yet, so we'll see. But linebackers in need, and frankly, I think Koramoah is just as good as that Collins-Parsons group. There's a good grouping of those. I'm going to call them not quite top 5 guys, but top 10, top 25, top 30 off-ball linebackers.
At number 20, you got the Chicago Bears second, Elijah Vera Tucker, the offensive lineman out of USC. They need offensive linemen.
Yeah, this is an interesting prospect because entering this year, he was viewed as a guard. That's what he'd been playing for USC. This season, though, he plays tackle.
Left or right?
Left, and he dominates.
Bears need a left tackle.
He was awesome at left tackle this year for USC, so I think all of a sudden, maybe he just ends up being a tackle in the NFL. And for the Bears, you mentioned tackle. I like the fit.
Bears interior has actually figured things out. So, yeah, tackle, that would make a lot of sense. Wyatt Davis, the guard out of Ohio State, you got him going to the Jacks. He can protect Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. Receiver's actually in pretty good shape for them. I thought about tackle, but I think there's a decent chance they end up re-signing Cam Robinson, at least for the short term. How about you upgrade over A.J. Cann? I think Wyatt Davis, in terms of the pure guards this year, number 1 in the class.
Another tackle here, big, busy offensive line group here. Samuel Cosme, the tackle out of Texas. He opted out of the bowl game to get ready for the draft.
I don't know what the future holds for Anthony Costanzo. He might retire. Maybe he comes back for one more year. Either way, you want to tackle for the long term. Cosme, kind of like Connor Williams, needs to add some strength to his game, another former Texas offensive line prospect. But I think you give him a year, ideally, to learn behind Costanzo. That sets the Colts up really well in the long term. To get a future left tackle at 22, give him a year to get stronger. I like that option.
Now, I mentioned that Kyle Pitts is my favorite prospect in this
Good
year's
answer.
draft. So we're going to ask you guys, who is your favorite prospect in this year's draft class? Let us know in the comments. I'll throw one more name out there.
Okay.
Love Rondale Moore. He's been banged up a lot of his career at Purdue, but he is a fun football
The
player.
Rondale Moore prototype in terms of the undersized, dynamic kind of slot, get the ball in his hands and space guy, has been replaced because Moore barely played this year by and maybe he goes before him, we'll find out. Kadarius Toney, who maybe we'll get to in a little bit. Nobody knows. We'll see in a little bit here.
At number 23, that probably means we will get to
You don't know
Kadarius
that.
Toney. That wasn't a convincing tease, Tom. Number 23, he's going to Cleveland.
Jason Oweh, again, we come back to the whole traits versus production standpoint. Jason Oweh didn't produce in terms of sacks. Pressures were there. Athletic traits, oh yeah, they're there. You want to pair someone opposite Myles Garrett? You lost Olivier Vernon, who's a free agent and also just tore his Achilles. How about a player in the mold of Jason Oweh?
It kind of reminds me of Rashawn Gary, who wasn't productive in college, and all of a sudden he's pretty good for the Packers now. So maybe that's the case here as well. At number 24, oh boy, here.
Azeez Ojulari, the edge rusher from Georgia. I don't know if you guys actually caught the Cincinnati-Georgia game. Cincinnati had to put in their backup left tackle because the starter got ejected.
Oh, no.
And Azeez Ojulari made that guy look like Chaz Green, Adrian Claiborne, and just blew by him, slapping his hands out of the way. Now, it's going to be tougher in the NFL, but Ojulari had a true breakout year, and in an edge class that, honestly, I don't know who's edge one. Depends on the fit. I love his fit in Tennessee as a 3-4 outside linebacker. He's going to have quite a bit of interest. I think he does go in round one.
Speaking of players who broke out this year, Joseph Asai had a fantastic season for Texas. You got him going to the Bucs at number 25.
Yeah, I got 3 edges in a row here. Take your pick of what one you kind of prefer. Osai did have a fantastic year again. I think he fits well in the Bucs scheme. Probably a late round 1, early round 2 guy. I think there's a bit of a drop-off behind Ojulari there in terms of how the NFL is going to view these players, but I like him quite a bit.
A player I like a ton and only played a few games before opting out, Rashad Bateman, the receiver out of Minnesota. He was awesome in 2019. Minnesota kind of fell off. Tanner Morgan wasn't great this year, but you still have him going in round 1.
Yeah, and look, Bateman maybe would have been served just not coming back at all. Never really got on the same page, and part of that was just Minnesota not being as good this year. But they clearly have a need for that bigger type of receiver.
Yep.
If you have someone that Miles Boykin mold, that younger Dez Bryant mold, Bateman isn't prime Dez Bryant, I don't think, but he can definitely become a key contributor for that offense.
Really good in the red zone, so we'll keep an eye on him. Chris Olave, another good receiver out of Ohio State. Pair him up with Justin Fields. Why not?
Who says no? Right? I didn't try to actively plan this, but it's the way it worked out where the receivers kind of fell a little bit. If you're Justin Fields, you go to the Jets, you'd love to get your buddy Chris Olave. I think he's super fluid.
Yeah.
You have Denzel Mims, Chris Olave, and keep Crowder in the slot if you want. That's a nice step forward to developing a receiving corps that's competent around your young franchise QB.
At number 28 in your latest 2021 mock draft, Jalen Mayfield, the offensive tackle out of Michigan. You got him going to the Steelers.
I am intrigued by Jalen Mayfield. The on-field production wasn't quite what I think that you're hoping for out of a round 1 guy, but this is also later round 1. The traits are there. I know the NFL likes him. Played a little bit more right tackle at Michigan. I think late round 1 is going to be the right range for him in the end.
At number 29, as we round out this mock draft here in a couple of picks, Nick Bolton, the linebacker out of Missouri, really productive at Mizzou.
Another linebacker. I didn't have him in my last round 1 mock draft. He was like the first guy taken behind it there. I like Bolton a lot. I think the Saints could use another linebacker. He has replaced Dylan Moses as the good SEC linebacker because Moses is he was not good this year.
He's not been the same guy after that injury. Couple more picks to get to, but first, will there be a 5th quarterback in Tom's mock draft?
Steelers Saints make some sense for probably Mac Jones there. I think 4.5, barring a surprise return or declaration, is about the right over-under.
We got 4 so far. Type O for over, type U for under. How many quarterbacks will go in round 1? If you think it's more than 4, type O in the comments section. At number 30, no quarterback here. We go cornerback, Eric Stokes out of Georgia.
Productive year, a little bit more productive than Tyson Campbell, who might have a better athletic ceiling, but the Bills could use a CB2. I don't love the corner class after the top 3 guys, but there will be guys who end up going in round 1.
Another receiver here, Terrace Marshall out of LSU at number 31. He goes to Green Bay. Finally, the Packers get Aaron Rodgers another receiver.
Please draft a receiver, Green Bay. And oh, by the way, Terrace Marshall fits the mold of what the Green Bay Packers have typically coveted in receiver, size, speed guys.
We teased them earlier, Kadarius Toney to the Chiefs, because why not?
The Chiefs don't care about defense.
They're good enough on defense.
They don't care. So you're probably not going to retain Sammy Watkins. Mecole Hardman has honestly not been that great for them. So you roll out Toney, Hill, and Travis Kelce.
You score all the points.
And Andy Reid's fun offense is like, oh, I'm going to do all this crazy motion stuff. It's fun at least.
Man. it's very, very fun. I'm intrigued. I mean, if Watkins and Robinson walk, there's a very good chance they could go receiver. So grade Tom's latest mock draft, and trust me, he's already starting on his next one.
Yeah.
A, B, C, D, or F. Let us know how you feel. And remember, if it's a bad grade, Tom put it together. I had nothing to do with it. At What Going Down, and you can tweet at him on Twitter. A, B, C, D, or F. Go ahead and grade Tom's latest mock draft.